There's an island in the Aegean where the wind sounds like a whisper and the sea glows like molten glass, where beaches shift from chalk-white moonscapes to fiery red canyons, as if each one belongs to a different world, where sunsets don't just paint the sky, they ignite it. This isn't the Greece you think you know. It's not the polished romance of Santorini or the pulsing nightlife of Mykonos. It's something wilder, quieter, far more alive. This is Milos, an island sculpted by volcanoes and softened by time. A place where every cliff, cave and cove feels like nature's private masterpiece. No filters, no crowds. Just raw beauty in its purest form. In Milos, you don't follow the guidebook. You follow your instinct. A dirt road that leads to a hidden cove. A fisherman's smile that turns into a local story. A moment of stillness that stays with you long after you've left. Welcome to Travelling Heavens, where today we explore Greece's most underrated island, and perhaps its most soul-stirring. Let's begin. As your ferry glides slowly into the port of Adamis, the first thing you'll notice isn't a landmark, it's the silence. That soft, shimmering stillness that only a place without chaos can offer. The hills that surround the bay rise like gentle giants, brushed with silver-green olive trees and flecks of white houses tucked among them. The light here doesn't glare, it glows. You step off the boat and it's as if the entire island exhales around you. No horns, no shouting, no tourist rush, just the sound of sandals against stone and the rhythm of waves against the dock. Milos doesn't try to impress you. It doesn't need to. The island lets you find its magic naturally, by walking slower, breathing deeper, and opening your eyes to details that louder destinations tend to drown out. That magic begins with Sarakiniko Beach, a place that doesn't seem to belong on Earth. Imagine a vast, undulating landscape of bone-white volcanic rock sculpted by salt, wind, and time into smooth curves and craters. The sea cuts through it like blue lightning. The sun reflects off the stone with such brilliance that sunglasses aren't optional. They're survival. You don't lie on Sarakiniko. You perch, you climb, you explore. You feel like you're walking through an art installation carved by gods. At midday, the white rock becomes hot and bright like polished marble. But if you come in the early morning or near sunset, when the light softens to amber and gold, the entire place glows like a dream. And then, with no warning, you'll stumble upon a cliff, not too high, just enough. And below it, a pool of pure turquoise calls you in. You jump, you rise to the surface, and you realize this isn't just a beach, it's an experience of otherworldly freedom. But Sarakiniko is just the beginning. Milos is blessed with more than 70 unique beaches, each one with its own soul. Take Firiplaka, for example, one of the island's longest and most inviting stretches of sand, where the cliffs behind you aren't just grey or beige. They're painted by nature in vivid shades of orange, pink, and rust red. The beach itself is long and curved like a crescent moon, with soft sand underfoot and water so clear you'll see fish swimming past your toes. There's a tiny beach bar with frozen mojitos, but it's low-key. No pounding music, no plastic straws. Just the hush of conversation and the occasional laughter of someone realizing how beautiful this place is. Then there's Tsigrado, which feels like you've discovered a secret, because you have. To get there, you'll need to climb down a narrow passage in the cliffs using ropes and a wooden ladder. It's a tiny thrill, and just challenging enough to make your arrival feel earned. And at the bottom, a hidden paradise. A slender beach framed by tall cliffs, where the sea rolls in gently like silk. The water is warm, crystalline, and calm. It's the kind of place you whisper in, not because it's forbidden, but because it feels sacred. You float on your back and look up at the sliver of sky above, framed by rock walls glowing with golden light. This isn't tourism, it's immersion. And if you think that's dramatic, wait until you visit Kleftiko. Accessible only by boat, Kleftiko isn't just a place, it's an epic carved into stone. Once a hideout for pirates who used the caves to ambush ships and escape unseen, it now feels like a living myth. Towering white rock formations rise from the sea like ancient guardians. Natural arches and tunnels cut through the cliffs, letting the sun pierce the water from unexpected angles. The result is surreal. Underwater cathedrals of light and colour. You dive in and suddenly you're in a world of silence and brilliance. The water is so clear, the rocks below seem to float in air. You swim through sea caves that feel untouched by time. You trail your fingers along stone walls that were once secret hideouts. There's no beach here, just the raw, sculpted bones of earth and sea. It's the kind of place that changes you a little. And just when you think you've seen Milos at its most beautiful, the land rises again. Drive or hike up to Plaka, the island's highest town and capital, where charm hides in every corner. The streets are narrow and cobbled, painted in Cycladic white with blue shutters and splashes of pink bougainvillea. As you wander, you'll hear the clink of coffee cups, the soft murmur of Greek grandmothers gossiping, and the echo of church bells from chapels tucked in alleyways. Time moves differently here. You don't just look, you linger. You stop to sip a cold espresso freddo while a cat curls up in your shadow. You walk past a doorway and smell fresh bread baking. You pause, not because you have to, but because you want to. And then the sun begins to set. You follow the winding steps to the old Venetian castle above town. Everyone's heading there. Not in a rush, but like pilgrims drawn to something sacred. As the sky begins its slow performance, people gather along the stone walls. Couples hold hands, strangers fall silent, cameras lower. And then it happens. The sun, a molten orange disk, dips below the horizon, setting the sea on fire. The sky melts from gold to lavender to midnight blue. For those few minutes, nothing else exists. It's not about taking photos, it's about feeling. Down below, the village glows. Lights flicker on. Laughter rises from the tavernas. The night begins. But Milos still holds more layers. Beneath the town of Tripiti, you'll find the Catacombs, among the oldest in all of Christendom. Carved into soft volcanic rock, these tunnels were once sacred burial places for the early Christians hiding from Roman persecution. The silence here is heavy, but not fearful. It's reverent. You walk slowly through dim passages, lit softly by lanterns, and you feel something ancient breathing in the walls. Just a short stroll from the catacombs lies the Roman theatre of Milos, perched perfectly above the sea. The marble steps are weathered but still strong, curving gracefully around what was once a vibrant stage. You sit there, surrounded by ruins and sea breeze, and you realise history isn't a museum here, it's part of the land. And beneath this very soil in 1820, a farmer unearthed a statue that would become one of the most famous in the world, the Venus de Milo. Sculpted nearly 200 years ago, she was found here on this quiet, unspoiled island. Now she stands in the Louvre, but her soul still lingers in the dust and light of Milos. When it comes to places to stay, Milos surprises again. Not with flashy five-star chains or sterile luxury, but with authentic elegance, built to blend in with the island rather than stand out. And yet, you'll still find luxury here, quiet, tasteful, and perfectly tuned to the soul of Milos. Let's begin in Polonia, a charming fishing village on the northeastern tip of the island. Here you'll find the stunning white pebble suites, an architectural masterpiece of Cycladic simplicity. The rooms are all soft curves and neutral tones filled with natural light. Private terraces offer unobstructed views of the Aegean, while the hotel's spa invites you to completely unwind after a day of exploring. But it's not just about the aesthetics. It's the feeling that everything has been designed with serenity in mind. It's luxurious, yes, but quietly so, like the island itself. Not far from there is the Melian Boutique Hotel and Spa, another gem that beautifully marries tradition with elegance. Perched just above the shore, it offers cozy suites with outdoor hot tubs and views that seem to stretch into eternity. Watching the sun sink behind the horizon from your balcony, glass of wine in hand, feels like a scene from a dream you didn't know you had. The staff here know you by name. The pace is slow. And that's the point. This isn't a place for rushing. It's a place for remembering how to breathe. Want something more unique? Consider booking a traditional suma, a brightly coloured boathouse originally used by fishermen in the village of Klima. These little dwellings are right on the edge of the water, literally. Open your door and the sea is just steps away. Watch the waves brush against your doorstep at sunrise. Fall asleep to the sound of gentle ripples under a sky full of stars. Staying here is not just a vacation. It's an experience, one that connects you to the rhythm of island life in a way no luxury suite can. Despite its off-the-beaten-path charm, Milos is surprisingly well-connected, especially if you're already in Greece. And the journey here, whether by sea or air, feels like the slow exhale before the calm. From Athens, you can take a short 40-minute flight directly to Milos National Airport. It's quick, easy, and ideal for those who want to land and hit the beach within the hour. Multiple flights run daily in high season, and the views as you approach the island, those volcanic cliffs and scattered white villages, are a preview of the magic to come. But if you're in no rush, and on Milos, that's kind of the point, then consider arriving by ferry. From the port of Piraeus, high-speed ferries will take you to Milos in just under 4 hours. The ride itself is part of the adventure. Watching the islands pass by, feeling the salt in your hair, the anticipation building as Milos slowly comes into view. It's cinematic. Ferries also link Milos with several neighbouring islands, including Santorini, Paros and Sifnos, making it a perfect stop for island hoppers seeking somewhere a little quieter, a little more soulful. Once you arrive at the port of At Milos, the island begins to reveal itself slowly. And while public buses can get you to most major beaches and villages, the best way to experience Milos is by renting a car or ATV. That freedom is key. It's what lets you stop at that random cliff with a view, or take the detour that leads to an empty beach with water so clear it looks unreal. Milos isn't the kind of place you follow a map around. It's a place where you follow your instincts. And that's where the magic lives. Not in checking off a list, but in what you stumble upon along the way. In the end, what makes Milos special isn't just its beaches, or its villages, or its quiet sunsets. It's the feeling that somehow this island remained untouched, while the rest of the world rushed forward. It's in the silence of Kleftiko's sea caves. It's in the heat of Sarakiniko's white stone. It's in the warmth of a stranger offering you figs from their garden. It's in the way time moves slower here. Not because nothing happens, but because everything that matters already is. Is it better than Santorini? That's for you to decide. But once you've been to Milos, Santorini might just feel like a beautiful postcard. And Milos, like a memory you want to relive forever. This is Traveling Heavens. Thank you for joining me. If you loved this journey, make sure to subscribe for more stories from places that still feel like dreams. Until next time.